Cheers. Good morning. I wanted to tell you about my nicotine story because nicotine and coffee, oh boy. Oh my gosh, when I was 16 years old and I was disfellowshipped, I was sent away to live with my grandma in California. And at that time, I started drinking alcohol, smoking weed, and smoking cigarettes. And from the time I was 16 until, was it 32, when I quit for the first time, when I had realized that I had been smoking half of my life, I quit. I've quit so many times. It was like at 16 when I started, and then I quit when I got reinstated at like 17, and then I got disfellowshipped again at like, I think it was 18 or 19 or something like that, because I started smoking again because I was stressed out. Like, I've always had this thing with like smoking, nicotine, like just it taking the edge off of like the stress and anxiety. But I have to tell you a secret. I did start smoking again back in 2022. In 2022, I took a trip to Israel. I've always wanted to go there. Did you ever look through the Bible and like in the front and the back of the Bible, and you know how there's all those maps? Like, I always wanted to go there. I always wanted to see the Holy Land. And so I did. And 3 weeks into my trip, I stayed there for a whole month. So 3 weeks in, I was going through some stress, even though I was on vacation, and I started smoking again after being quit for many years. Like, I've started and I've quit so many times. When I was pregnant, I quit. I've been pregnant 4 times, 5 kids, but always back and forth with smoking, back and forth to meetings too. So yeah, in 2022, I started up with the cigarettes again, and then I came home to Washington State, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't be smoking. Like, I just hate it. I hate smoking. It's like so gross, so nasty, so stinky. It's like, why am I doing this? So then I started doing the nicotine pouches, right? Nicotine pouches. And that was like, I don't know if it was better or worse. It was like, I was equally disgusted by myself. Yeah, I started doing those. It started off with like 6 milligrams. It'll tell you on the package 6 milligrams. And then I went to 4 milligrams, 3, 2, eventually 1. But after 2 years of doing these pouches, well, it's been a couple of weeks now that I've weaned myself off of the nicotine and I'm free. So I have allowed myself to have Starbucks as much as I want, once a day. I'm like, okay, there has to be like a trade-off, like some incentive. I had to incentivize myself, like as if my health wasn't enough, right? So I allow myself to have Starbucks as much as I want, once a day, every day if I want. And I've also allowed myself during this time to have a lot of, grace and love for myself and a lot of compassion. Like, it's hard quitting nicotine. It's one of the hardest things. That's why don't ever do that one, because then when you have the one, you want the 2, you want the whole pack, you're just like, you're back on it again. And so, yeah, that's what I've done. I had to wean myself down this time. I've done it so many different ways. I've quit cold turkey. I've quit, and being pregnant, like, yeah, quit cold turkey. I have done the patches where you put them on, like the nicotine patches. Oh my gosh, I've quit so many times, but this time, the nicotine, for real, like, that was the last time. And so, yeah, I've been letting myself have coffee and myself have, like, extra, like, comfort food during this time. Do you guys see how it's raining here? This is typical Washington weather. Oh my gosh, it's so yucky and rainy, so coffee is good. Anything comforting to help me through this time. And, it won't be forever that I'm gonna be Starbucks every day and eating comfort foods like bread and pasta and things like that, pizza. But for now, that's what I am allowing myself. I'm like, I love you, girl. I love you. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking care of yourself. If you don't have that person in your life to tell you, awesome, great job, you're doing amazing things, like keep going, like this is gonna be so worth it. If you don't have that person in your life, like you have to be that person in your life. And that's what I do for myself. Like, look at me, I'm in my car all alone, and I'm over here giving myself a hug and telling myself, good job, you got a treat today, one more day down. So now I have to look back and see how long has it been, but I think it's been 2 weeks since I've been nicotine free. 2 weeks. So for all of you out there, if you struggle with cigarettes or nicotine addiction, like, whew, I feel you. It's one of the hardest things to quit, and that's how I've done it this time. Taper off and give myself lots and lots of love and incentivize myself with treats. And I just wanted to be real and tell you that is kind of something that I've struggled with ever since leaving the Jehovah's Witnesses. Because if you're not good, then you're bad. So I was real bad. I was really bad. Like, cigarettes were like the least of my worries, back in those days when I was, torturing myself because of, being disfellowshipped and being deemed a really evil person, a bad person, an unforgivable, unlovable person. I did a lot of unlovable, mean things to myself. Never mind what everybody else was doing to me and the way they were treating me, shunning me, talking about me bad at the Kingdom Hall, sneering at me, just looking down on me. I remember somebody even telling me when I was 16 and right before I was disfellowshipped, like, if you were my daughter, I would kill you. That's what my mom's best friend that's a witness told me. That's always stuck with me. Yeah. No wonder we do these things to hurt ourselves, But now that I am 49 years old, there's not a reason to keep doing this. Like, there's a better way for me to deal with my feelings, frustrations, anxiety. When I started smoking back in 2022 when I was in Israel, I hadn't even found coaching yet, or I found it when I had come home. I was in Israel in July. Oh my gosh, it was so hot. And I came home in September. At the end of September is when I found coaching. And and this whole time I've been kind of struggling with nicotine. And I finally figured it out, and I made it a priority. And like, my health is my wealth, and I feel like I want to live this last half of my life really healthy. And I know that was something I had to get over it. I had to let it go, and I've let it go. I've let you go, nicotine. You never did anything for me anyways. And I have better ways of dealing with it, like giving myself a hug, giving myself a pep talk, telling myself things like, you can go through this. Or like, sometimes I'll talk to myself, if I notice something, like I'm feeling anxiety, I sort of like check in with myself, like talk to myself nicely, like, hey, hun, what is going on? Like, what is this feeling? Like, what is it? Like, talk to myself so compassionately, the way that we would want somebody to talk to us. Like, what's wrong? Tell me, and sometimes when you talk to yourself like that and you have this conversation in your mind, that really helps. Some things will come up. Sometimes I'll write too in my journal, and it's like, what is going on? And then it becomes very clear as I'm writing. It's like, oh, that's the thing. That's what's bothering me. And then, through coaching and learning all of these coaching techniques, I've learned how to process a feeling and how to stop avoiding feelings with things like nicotine and bad relationships and self-harm and, you know. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you that's my it's my nicotine story. It's my smoking story, and I'm really glad that it's over. I'm so done. I'm so done with it. All right, thanks for listening, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks for following along on these stories of my EXJW stories. Bye, everyone.